Welcome back to this special edition of CNN Newsroom from the Washington Navy Yard. Friends of the shooter, friends of Aaron Alexis, they're painting a picture today of this young man who was quiet, but according to them, pretty well liked by his friends, his colleagues. A man who was prone to occasional angry outbursts, but not someone they could even fathom could be capable of gunning down a dozen people in cold blood.
He taught me a lot of how to live here. I've been here for 4 or 5 years. He taught me how to be watch out and everything, to tell me about, stuff like you should do, stuff that shouldn't trust people, people that try to come and take advantage of me or my family. So he would like to watch out for me too.
He was always smiling, always, if you couldn't talk, at least he waved, and just said hi from a distance. And, I'm busy at my store and he was over here doing what he needed to do. And sometimes we'd see him, sometimes he'd come in, and I'd see him 3 or 4 or 5 times a week, sometimes a couple times a week. Sometimes I'd talk to him a couple times a day. It just varied. And sometimes he'd disappear for 3 or 4 days or a week, and then he'd be back and everything seemed fine. And he was excited about his new job that he was going to in D.C.
But Aaron Alexis did share his frustrations over his discharge from the military with one of his friends.
He got back and he felt very slighted about his benefits at the time. Financial issues, he wasn't getting paid on time, he wasn't getting paid what he was supposed to be getting paid. His point of contact wasn't able to clearly explain to him what was going on and why his benefits were so messed up at the time. And I know he expressed a lot of frustration and a lot towards that. That's when I first started hearing statements about how he wanted to move out of America. He was very frustrated with the government and how as a veteran he didn't feel like he was getting treated right or fairly.
Those words from friends and colleagues here to begin to put the pieces of this puzzle together. One side, they said, hey, this guy was warm, he was friendly, and then you have this other side saying he was angry, that he was harboring deep frustrations. I want to bring in Dr. Javon Ornsteiner, who's joining us now. He's a forensic psychologist, and I know you work, sir, with criminals each and every day. You see the full spectrum, but from the pieces of the puzzle we already have, and this is just tough to even, think, but could friends, could family have seen signs, seen that there could have been a moment where he snapped?
Well, from what that last individual was saying, yes, most definitely. You're talking about someone who's very, very resentful. You're talking about someone who feels frustration. And they're in isolation because they're not speaking about it. They're not working on forming a therapeutic alliance with a therapist. They're just talking about it with, so far, just a few friends, and then it just kind of brews, and you're angry. You really need to listen when that last individual said, he felt slighted. He felt he wasn't getting what he deserved. And then you're seeing the start of an incredible amount of resentment. So again, we do hear these stories. And again, if this person does have a history of mental health issues, we're looking at paranoia, we're looking at a skewed perception, we're looking at limited coping skills, we're looking at a history of when he gets angry, he doesn't use negotiation strategies, he turns to grab for the gun, where he reportedly shot out someone's tires and also reportedly shot his ceiling when he was angry at a neighbor for playing the music too loud. So I see the history there. It's a selective history, but I do, to answer your question, I do see a history there that I would use as a red flag if I had been seeing him or the family had reported this background to me.
And doctor, I want to drill down there because I know a lot of veterans, and I have to say probably half of them have expressed frustration with the VA to me at one point or another. His father said that his son may have suffered from post-traumatic stress from being a first responder during 9/11, but again, PTSD fairly widespread among veterans. It seems to be the violent incidents that you just referenced, the shooting out the tires in Washington State and then shooting the ceiling of the house, I believe that was in Fort Worth, Texas. Right. Those two seem much more likely to be warning signs for something like this than just complaining about the VA or expressing frustration about benefits, no?
Yes, I hear what you're saying. It's a combination of things. We all have frustrations. I have frustrations, you have frustrations. It's how we deal with them, how we cope, and what are the solutions we seek. Here we have a person who clearly has a short fuse, has difficulty coping, and again reaches for the gun. So there's limited coping skills. And then you're dealing with this attitude of revenge. You're not really taking another person into consideration here. If the reports are true, we're also dealing with a person who's hearing voices. So there's schizophrenia possibly, but again, this has just been reported. So it's a history of mental illness, a history of limited coping skills, a skewed perception, and then you're not forming a strong therapeutic alliance with someone with the mental health industry.
Okay, Javon Orange Center, thank you so much.